You okay?
Yeah.
What's up, Gross family?
What's up, Gross fam?
This is our first official YouTube video for this channel. I mean, there's no better topic than the Black Maternal Health Week to introduce this channel to the world and just kind of share our story with getting into parenthood and my journey through pregnancy, labor, and delivery. Prayerfully, what we have to share will help someone else. It's okay. Will help someone else who is going into motherhood or desire to, but they're afraid and they want to do it with all the knowledge that they possibly can get. We have definitely been through some things when it comes to becoming parents. It hasn't been the easiest route, but you know, we are grateful for our doctors and the team at the hospital we had our children at. They have been very helpful throughout the last 10 years since we had our first daughter, but we'll start from the beginning. So I had cervical cancer. When I was 23, I was diagnosed, and now I'm almost 36. And it hasn't been but 7 years since I finally got a normal pap smear and with no HPV or no cervical cancer in sight. And so we're very grateful for that. However, it's definitely caused us some issues in the baby making department.
Yes, it did. A lot of in the baby making department. A lot of things I was feeling in my own head, just in the baby making department, was afraid that I'll be hurting you or doing something wrong too. Yeah. Like, man, like the part of my head was just so
like he literally didn't want to touch me when I was pregnant. But honestly, I couldn't even. I was put on bed rest with the last 2 kids. The first one, I was able to be at work and sit on a stool, but I did have to be put on bed rest with the last 2 babies. And it was definitely a horrible experience because I had a baby, with the second one, I had a 3-year-old, and with the third one, I had a 8 and 5-year-old. And so it was hard to navigate through being on bed rest, being a stay-at-home mom. He still was working, and it just was hard. But, you know, my doctor was always on call. But one thing I do recommend is I always recommend, if you are uncomfortable where you are when it comes to your doctor and your doctor's office, do not hesitate to switch doctors. Switch them out. Do what you gotta do and switch out your doctor. Because at the end of the day, your health, your safety, your comfort is more important. We did switch doctors. The doctor that gave birth to our children is not the doctor that diagnosed me with cervical cancer. The one that diagnosed me, she had me afraid.
Yeah, she was very, very aggressive. We're trying to do certain things. You know, we all got involved. Like, hey, let's get a second opinion from someone else.
Yeah. You know, my parents were like, no, you need a second, thank you, baby. My parents were like, no, you need a second opinion. Yeah. This lady is about to have you going through menopause at 24 years old. No, you need a second opinion. And so when I got pregnant, I definitely went ahead and decided to see a different doctor. I also, when I got pregnant, 5 weeks after our positive pregnancy test, 5 weeks into the pregnancy, I began having cramps really, really bad. And so I went to the emergency room. They couldn't see the baby. And so they made me see a doctor within 2 days, 48 hours, to confirm that their baby was not in my tubes. And come to find out, I ended up having huge cysts, like 5 of them on one of my ovaries. And they ended up disappearing on their own, thank God. But it definitely was a rough first trimester, trying to make sure that those cysts weren't going to be an issue, that those cysts weren't going to be like erupt or become a problem with the baby's growth. Yeah. Again, it was a lot. If you feel like something is wrong, go to the emergency room. Don't let no one stop you. Don't let no one make you feel like you're crazy. Go to the emergency room. Do what you have to do to care for you and your unborn child. Go and get it checked out. That's what emergency rooms are there for. And if your hospital has an emergency center, of course, most hospitals do. If you're go to that emergency center. Like, go to the emergency center at the hospital that you plan to have your child at, because they already have you all in file, and your doctor will also be notified of everything that happens. But please, do not ignore signs. Do not ignore signs that you're not well, that something doesn't feel right. And again, if your doctor makes you feel like you're crazy or makes you feel uncomfortable with your concerns, switch doctors.
Yes, do all those things. Those things like really saves the day at the end.
Yeah.
I mean, saves any kind of worries, and at the end of the day, once you deliver your child and things happen, you have your mind. Man, I wish I would have did that. Do it now. No wishing. And,
yeah. Just go ahead and make it known that you're uncomfortable and that you would prefer to, switch your doctor around, even if it's in the same doctor's office. If there's another doctor that's rumored to be great, go to that doctor. I mean, at the end of the day, it's not about hurting feelings. It's about making sure you're getting the proper health care. So one of the scariest moments during labor and delivery was when my blood pressure dropped to like 70/60 after getting the epidural. This was with our first daughter. I wasn't aware, and neither was he, of what was going on. I just felt like maybe I was tired from laboring for 3 hours without any medicine. And so come to find out, it wasn't that I was tired. My blood pressure was dropping and dropped fast after getting the epidural. Sometimes you don't know how your body is going to react to some of the things that they do in the hospital. And I definitely think that when you are a first-time parent, you don't know. You're not aware as much as you are when you're a second, third, fourth, fifth-time parent, right? And so we weren't aware of what was going on until the doctors started running into the room, and I woke up to doctors and nurses all over me. And after 3 attempts, they finally got my blood pressure to 90/70, I think. And they were happy with that for the time being. But it was very scary, and it lasted for about 30 minutes before they could finally find a concoction that will get my blood pressure back up. I thank God for Jonathan being there, because he saw something wasn't right, and he made sure that they came in and looked at it, and that's when they realized it was my blood pressure. But had he not been there, had my family not been there, I would have been asleep. I wouldn't have been able to advocate for myself.
Yes, and it made me think about the part that, like, if there wasn't family there, if it's just the mom and future mom and dad there, they just make sure y'all are there. I mean, like, monitoring things, looking over things that's happening. Because sometimes the mother might not be in the right place at the time right now, dealing with contractions, managing contractions.
To realize something not right.
Realize something is wrong. So you got to be that watchful eye to see what's happening. So that way you say, you know what, I'm running through your contraction. This happened. You feel this, you feel that. Like the whole time, to be highly engaged to talk to the doctors about everything that's going on, because it's really important. I did
oh, you did.
I'm already here.
But yes, and I mean, not even that we might not be able to see what's going on, but we may not be able to say what's going on.
Yes.
We may feel it, but we're like, I don't know what I'm feeling. We can't move. We can't leave the room. We can't do all of that. And in the moment, we're just scared. We're scared. We don't know what to do. We don't know what to think. We're frightened for our lives, our baby's lives. And so it's really great when you have a partner there advocating for you and making sure that everything that you need, feel, and want are taken care of. I definitely thank God he was there, because even with the third baby, I was feeling like something was happening. The lady walked out and said I was only at 6 centimeters. And literally within 30 minutes, I started feeling like something was about to fall out of me. And my epidural stopped working, and I started feeling like something wasn't right. And we buzzed the people, but they were like, oh, it's okay. You're probably just getting ready to crown. We'll be in there shortly. And I told him, I was like, something is not right. I am feeling something is not right. So he said, I'm gonna go out there. So he went out there and he was like, look, my wife is complaining about something not feeling right. I don't think something is right in there. I need y'all, like, can y'all come look? Please just check her out. And finally, for the first time in the entire stay with our third daughter, a Black nurse came in, and she was the sweetest person and immediately told me that it is possible for you to get checked and be only 6 centimeters and be at 10 ready to push in 30 minutes, because when they check you, they play with you down there, and that could really jumpstart and push you ahead. And so she checked me and she was like, I feel the baby's head. Let's do this. And I was like, oh my God.
That quick.
It happened so fast. And because I've never felt what that part, I did it without an epidural for like 10, 12 hours. And they checked me so many times during that time that it was getting really painful. These contractions were coming so hard. So eventually I was like, okay, I have to get an epidural. I'm not going to make it. Like, I felt like I was dying. And so I went ahead and got the epidural, but I was really sad because I didn't think that I would be able to
natural birth to
feel that delivery process. Like, I wanted to feel it. This is our last baby, and I really wanted to feel it. But the epidural did. It wore off.
Oh, yes.
I was able to feel everything.
I remember you looked at me, you was like, oh.
I was like, oh my God, I feel it.
I feel like pain.
I was like, I feel it. I feel like something's happening. And sure enough, I was feeling the baby descending.
Yes.
And I felt every push. I felt her flop out. I felt her body flop out. Like, it was crazy. And immediately after, it was done. The pain was gone. I didn't feel anything. And I was so grateful that I did get that experience, despite going ahead and getting the epidural, that it just wore off. It's crazy because I could feel it in my legs, but I couldn't feel it in the vaginal area. It's crazy. It's crazy how it wore off in certain spots. Yeah. I feel like that was God allowing me to have that opportunity.
Yes.
But
it was.
I just thank God that he was there to advocate. Even if, let's say, you're in a situation where the father isn't there, always have someone in the room with you to advocate for you.
Not be there by yourself.
Yeah, to make sure that, like, whether it's a parent, a spouse, get close to a nurse.
I don't know. Favorite cousin, favorite auntie,
a parent,
best friend,
a cousin, anybody that can be in there with you and advocate for you. Because things can go wrong, and you don't know until it happens that this is even possible for your body. You don't know how your body is going to react to certain things. I've had anesthesia a couple of other times. I had my wisdom tooth extracted, and they put me to sleep for that. And I also had my leaf procedure for cervical cancer, and I was put to sleep for that. And I never had a problem with anesthesia. So the epidural making my blood pressure drop like that, and it did it with each kid. I tried to go natural with the second child as well. Went up again 10 to 12 hours. Yeah. In the last 2 hours, I went ahead and got the epidural so they could break my water. And sure enough, my blood pressure dropped again. And then with the third,
this time they was ready for it. This time
they were ready for it the second and third time.
That's the beauty of the first time, attacking everything, every single problem that you experience.
They put it in the system.
Put them in the system. Put the same ones. Hey, man, the second time around, we'll be ready for you this time. We have the right kind of medicine to put into you. So that way, when that time happens, it's not going down low. You know what I mean? Like, no, that was serious.
Yep. It definitely was extremely helpful to have it in the system and be at the same doctor's office. That's why it's good to take your time and pick your doctor. That way the same doctor could be there with you. So if you experience things with the first baby, they're ready for you with the babies after. They know what you're about to experience and they are prepared. I thank God we had our children all at the same hospital because they knew what was about to happen, and they prepared me and him and my body and whatever they needed when they did the epidural. They prepared themselves for it. And sure enough, my blood pressure did drop with both the next two kids. But God is good, and I made it through. I really, really wanted a natural birth, but natural birthing is hard. I will also recommend that if you don't mind having a baby at home, if you've thought about it, I'm not gonna lie, I would totally recommend that. I have friends that have had babies at home, and it's just so much more of a comfortable environment. So if you're considering that, do it at home. Surround yourself with positive energy, positive people, and do it at home. If I could have another child, I would definitely do a home birth. It's expensive, but it's worth it. I heard it's worth it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not talking about the home birth, but if you are in the hospital, one thing I did remember is that you standing up most of the time was a big difference. Do not stay in the bed all day. If you can help to go walk around and do things, I'm telling you, it's the best thing to stand up.
Stand up, walk around. Don't lay down. Don't let them think you have to lay down. Stand up, walk around, do the ball, get in the shower, have your partner pack shorts with him, so he can get in the shower with you. Do not just lay around in the bed. Standing up, moving back and forward, deep breaths, deep moaning, that all helps a whole lot. Also, intimacy, and not necessarily having sex in the hospital, but just kissing, rubbing, caressing. Allow your partner to touch you in ways that will activate your pheromones, activate the oxytocin in your body so that it can help your body relax a little bit so that the contractions can actually work and do their job. Because when you tense up, the contractions don't work. It makes the process longer. So and we'll share that in shorts, but he was like, he kissed me, he rubbed me, he held me, he hugged me tight. And honestly, that's truly the only reason why I got any of those contractions.
My job was to help you relax the whole time.
Yeah, he definitely kept me
relaxed the whole time. Keep your mind on something else, and it helped. It helps big time. It helps big time being there.
Yes. Oh man, it was amazing. I definitely didn't get that with the first and second kid because we was in a room with all our family and all of them wanted to pitch in and kind of help me through the process. So he wasn't able to really just be hands-on as much as he wanted to. But with the third baby, because of COVID regulations, no one else was allowed in the room. And so I was grateful for that because it was just he and I. And it was such a beautiful experience. An experience, one of the best out of the three, honestly.
Yeah, another thing too, a lot of times before we even got to the point into the delivery room, who's at home talking about going through the whole delivery, pregnancy part, we get to the end. You communicated to me a lot of things that you wanted for me to do.
Yes.
So these are my do's and don'ts. So if you got like 10, 15 people in the room. You might have your loved one's mom, your loved one's dad, or your parents there, something like that. They might try to intervene in their feelings and get into the situation where they might make different choices. And then you got to think about, hey, I mean, what you told me, this is the choice that you wanted to take, this is what you wanted to do because of her experience and feeling this way. So just make sure you know what your wife, your girlfriend, they know what they want for you to do, so you can do it when they need for you to do it the most.
Yeah, because
it's gonna happen.
This time around, I was like, if they do allow, because we didn't know if they were gonna allow family. I was like, if they do allow family, if my mom starts acting the way she did with Autumn, getting mad at me because I wasn't getting my epidural and all of that, like, kindly ask her to leave, or kindly just explain to her that this is not healthy and that this is the decision that we've made. You know, same thing with his family. You know, kindly just escort out anybody who's trying to get in the way of our birth plan and what I want for my body and our baby. And I told him to stick me to it. I told him, you know the cues of I cannot bear anymore. Yep. Do not let me get an epidural unless you see those cues. Unless you truly feel in your soul, I have taken too much and I need now a break. And he did. Like, there were many times I wanted an epidural within those first 12 hours, but he was like, no, we got this. You're doing so good. It wasn't until I literally just started crying and I just could not bear it anymore. Yep. And he was like, it's time. And I didn't, because he loves me so much that he don't like seeing me in pain. He don't like seeing me uncomfortable. So in the past, he would be like, get it, just get it. You know, whatever, you want it now? Okay, let's get it. And then after the fact, I'm like, I could have held on a little longer. I could have. And so
I held you to that.
This time he held me to it. Yeah. And I'm so grateful because I definitely feel more comfortable in this last stretch. In this last labor and delivery, I feel like I got the epidural exactly when I needed it and when I truly, I just could not handle it anymore. Yep. And it wasn't prematurely at all. And so I'm just grateful for him listening and understanding where I was coming from and respecting what I wanted. So definitely come up with that birth plan, do all your research on what you want to do, come up with that birth plan. If you want to save your placenta, make sure your partner understands that process. Yes. Like everything, because you can't depend on the hospital to do what you need. Your partner is your right-hand man. Your partner is the one that's going to make sure everything that you are experiencing or that you want to experience goes according. Yep. And so make sure you come up with that birth plan and make sure your partner understands that birth plan, understands why it's important to you, and understands that this birth plan is what needs to take place, period, point blank.
There you go.
We're not averting from it. We're not going left, going right. We're going straight ahead.
Yep, it is.
But we hope and pray that your birthing experience, that your pregnancy, that your journey to parenthood, motherhood, fatherhood is a blessing.
I hope it goes.
And that it goes according
in your heart, your mind, when you dreamed of it. We hope it goes the exact way that you dreamed of it, because that's the most important.
Yes, we're going to actually say a prayer over you and your future journey to parenthood, your current journey to parenthood, and for anyone that has experienced any loss or grief when it came to the journey to parenthood. Heavenly Father, we thank you for this day. We thank you for the world seeing that the Black maternal health crisis is important enough to need a stage, to need acknowledgement. God, we ask that anyone seeking to become a parent, anyone who has become a parent, or anyone seeking to grow their family or grieving from any loss or difficulty during the process of growing their family, remembers that all things happened for the good of you. Yes. All things happen for a purpose and a reason, and we may not know the reason right now, but at the end of the day, that reason will be revealed to us, and you will always get the glory. God, we pray a safe, healthy, happy, whole, joyous labor, delivery, and pregnancy for every woman who is going through it, yes, who wants to go through it, desires to go through it, and an abundance of joy in motherhood after they have gone through it. God, we ask that you protect the wombs of every woman out there, whether they have had children or not. We ask that you watch over the doctors that care for these women, that you put doctors in their space that will make sure that they get all that they need, that they are well cared for, that you provide them with the care providers who will listen to them, who will care for their needs, and who will make them feel safe. We ask that you bless them with partners who will understand them, who desire to support them, who desire to stand by them, and who desire to make sure that this journey is a happy one, a whole one, a joyous one, one filled with peace and mercy and so much grace. God, we thank you for the community. We thank you for all that you've done for all of us. And we ask that you continue to help every woman, to get every woman who is in the labor and delivery space, who is getting ready to deliver the miracle of a baby, make it to the end safely.
Yes.
Whole and happy.
Yes.
With a healthy, whole and happy baby.
Yes.
In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
All the products that we used on our skincare today will be linked in the description. We love you and we hope you have an amazing day.
Amazing day.
Please remember to like and subscribe so that you know when the next video hits. See you next time.
See you next time.